Hey, welcome to Thoughtful Thursday. I am Amy.
And I'm Pastor Jason. Today for Thoughtful Thursday, we're going to be thinking about Psalm 8. Let's get thoughtful. A beautiful Thursday afternoon, and we just want to later lunch or whatever it is, or gather your work crew around and join them in thinking deeply with you. So before we dive into Psalm 8 today, I'm so excited about this Sunday and nervous, right? You know, we're wanting to make sure we're taking the right steps as a church, but it's the dial's in the orange, which means we are in person for worship, which means we will also you will be able to worship together with your people. You excited?
Absolutely excited. I love being able to stream to everybody. That's kind of where my job entails on the Sundays. But it's so nice to have the people that even just walk by my booth where the rest of the techies and I are sitting and be able to say hi and say hello.
You know, and for me, it's not really trying to get back to where we were or doing things like normal, because when are we really normal? But what it is for me is it's clarifying on a value that community and being together really is important, and more important than I think we realized. And so we get to hone in on that value. You know what else I'm excited? Love like that.
Absolutely.
Like this and like that, y'all. So starting February 14th, Valentine's Day, Lover's Day. We're talking about agape love of Jesus Christ and how you can love like Jesus because you were actually made to love like Him. So, so we've been selling books and getting that all ready. So getting people in life groups.
Definitely. Love my life group. We're doing it. It's one of those ones that we enjoy doing it with the church because you get a little bit more than just in with your group. You can hear it on Sundays. You can hear it through other groups throughout the week. So definitely fun.
Yeah. It's like what makes the playoffs really exciting is it's not just that you're watching it, it's that everyone else is watching it, right? We should do like fantasy love like that leagues.
That's interesting. I'll have to see how that works.
All right, well, here we go. Psalm 8, I'm reading from the New Living Translation today. O Lord, our Lord, your majestic name fills the earth. Your glory is higher than the heavens. You have taught children and infants to tell your strength, silencing your enemies and all who oppose you. When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them, human beings that you should care for them? Yet you made them only a little lower than God and crowned them with glory forever. You gave them charge of everything you made, putting all things under their authority. The flocks and the herds and all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, the fish in the sea, and everything that swims the ocean currents. O Lord, our Lord, your majestic name fills the earth. So this really spoke to me because, I know I said I was going to let you go, but right away I just had this thought. When I was at church camp and they would send us out into the yard to pray before we'd go eat, they always, during the week, would always have Psalm 8 as one of them. And I just vividly can smell the sausage and the pancakes outside, you know, and also like this, just this grandeur of God. So this really runs deep with me.
Definitely. That majestic, that greater glory. It talks all about those big things that He set the stars in their place in this world, and it's so amazing. And you go through it, but then you see what is mankind. Where with this? Where have you put us in this? And we're authorities. We're placed as rulers over these different pieces: the flocks, the herds, the sky, the creatures of the sky, the fish. And so what does that mean? Is this grand, great God that we have is giving us authority over these pieces, these animals and plants. And so as we work into that, it's not a matter of he's giving us tasks to make sure this gets done. He's giving us authority over them. How are we supposed to take this authority and learn from it and grow from it and work with him, with these creatures he has made, to grow with us, and how that works?
Yeah, really. So you're reading this, and it's both this extreme humility and then also this deep confidence or encouragement, because there's the grandeur, just like you said. And it is easy to get lost in that, which is okay, right? You know, like, God is so big, all the stars, the moon, like everything in its order. Wow, you know, the psalm even starts out, Lord, you are majestic. How majestic is your name? And yet there's that piece that we are so small, yet, you know, where do you put us in that order? Like, here's God, and then his beloved, his creation, and then the heavenly beings. And so, I mean, that's just like, when I think about angels, or I think about, you know, I don't really see myself that way, and yet God has said this, and here you are, this is what I think about you. Which means what for us? We are not merely just the recipients of God's love, and people like asking God, please do this for us, please make this good for us, please clear out the pandemic, bring things back to good. You know, it's actually God saying, I'm not just doing this for you, but it's God saying, I'm doing this with you, or you're doing this with me, right?
It's something, I read something earlier that actually talks about your salvation. It's not something that you can work for, but you can work on. And so working on your salvation, working with God to bring about something better, something more, something beyond what we can do ourselves. Because as we're working to figure out like what the plants are like, what these pieces can do to help us be healthy, to help us with what we eat and that type of thing, it's how we're working with that stuff. But there's a step beyond that, because God is the one that created it, and he knows. And so what pieces is he going to help out that he can do that we work with as well? And so that's definitely how we're working together in the process of learning about people too. It's not just about the things of the earth. It's about the people of the earth too. We are all here together, and how do we learn about each other and work with each other in that aspect?
Now, I love the story that you told me about George Washington, and you know, botanist, plant scientist, and his discovery, which was really through faith, is, and I'm telling the story that you told me that you know, you kind of paraphrased, but essentially, Washington Carver, being a faithful man, prayed to God and said, you know, reveal your secrets of first, you know, these great big, like the universe, and then God's finally like, well, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to reveal to you the secrets of the peanut. You know, and I mean, in some ways it's like a little bit insignificant, but who doesn't love peanut butter?
Well, and
unless you're allergic, right?
Don't
do that. But
peanut's not so good for those. But that's what's nice about like all the things. There were 300 plus things that he figured out with just the peanut. And so there's so much more than just this little thing that comes and you break open the shell. It's definitely beyond what we can fathom in something so small. It's like the mustard seed.
Yeah. So when David is writing and he's saying, you made us only a little lower than yourself, God, you gave us charge of everything, put us all things under authority. I think even if we start to get it that we're co-workers with God and not just the recipients of things we want from him, that we might read this and think, well, God's got the big whip and crack, you know, and I got a man-sized one or a human-sized one, and but what you're bringing to light here, and that the actual Hebrew is pointing to light, is that this authority over, or this responsibility for, is more in just that example of Washington Carver, is that understanding of the intricate look into this world and understanding it.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's a peanut or relationships, or people in general, or perhaps people groups we don't understand, or that are different from ourselves, whether it's a scenario or a situation or a circumstance, there are all these things that as we have authority over them, we are given the opportunity to really understand them and go into the interiors of them. If you can learn 300 things about a peanut, what do you, Aimee, do I, Jason, do you watching with us today, being thoughtful with us, what do you have to learn from the person next to you, across from you, who often opposes you?
Yeah.
And that's part of that authority and that responsibility as a co-worker with God.
Definitely. Learning about what they're about. I took a walk with a mentor the other day, and we walked around the block for 35 minutes. It's not somebody I normally talk to, but when we were able to go through a whole bunch of the different things that we're both experiencing, whether it be staying indoors a lot, or, well, not indoors, but staying away from others, keeping that physical distance when we're out and about, but still being able to share with them, whether it's my neighbor who's across the street, or whether it's when we gather and are in roughly line at the store. Even without being able to see the smile on your face, people are smiling when their eyes crinkle up. Some people crinkle more than others. That you're still learning about them, even though maybe you can't see what's going on. You can still share with them and say, hey, how your day going? Even just going through the checkout line and saying, giving that little extra to those people that you do see every once in a while. I think that learning about them, even if you do pass them by randomly, or you know them more often. So
it's that authority, that responsibility that we have. It's the authority and the responsibility that God still takes care for each of us, right? And learns the infiniteness of His beloved, of His creation. It's authority over even ourselves, and how we are in the world. And if we are co-creators, then even in a pandemic, even when things get turned upside down and feel like they're out of control, it changes the whole focus of saying, God, for whatever reason, you did this to us and bringing us through this. Instead, it's kind of like saying, okay, God, you're the captain of the team, and that's where you're aiming over there. And so we're all going to respond to that because we're on the same team, and we want to be in the same place to accomplish the same things, whether it's touchdown or, a goal unit.
Something basketball related.
And it's incredibly deep there. So thanks for thinking about that.
Absolutely.
And thanks for being thoughtful with us. And I got a question here.
Sure.
So is this thing gonna stay up? Because I watched you this is a brick wall, and you were in your gesture I almost thought the wall was gonna come down, because this is a solid brick wall.
It's a very
crazy?
nice, lovely wall. I think we should add to it though.
Oh.
I think that's the goal. Maybe put some extra fun stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. What goes on our wall back here? Comment, subscribe, like all of this that we're doing, and come along with us. Also, it is the 21st of January, and so I once said a couple weeks ago that I missed No Shave November, so I'm going for a very hairy January. And I tell you what, it probably looks good, but it doesn't. I feel so woolly. It's quite journey?
You haven't seen my husband lately, have you?
Oh no, of course, because we're told to respect our distance.
Yes, it's hilarious watching him. And so if you watch, you'll see hair out from underneath his mask. That's how hairy he is right now. So no shave or whatever.
Very hairy January.
Very hairy January seems good on you.
So, well, thank you. So you're saying that Chad is so hairy, he's always wearing a mask.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we won't take that too far. Again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.